want to encourage you as a friend and just let you know that purpose is possible for the voids inside of you that your heart has longed for. There is a reason, and there is a purpose for your life. Hey, I'm Ash. Welcome to the channel. So glad you're here. Be sure to like and subscribe. And we're going to be talking about purpose. Let's talk for a second about what the definition of success is. Well, the dictionary defines success as the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. But what aim? What is your aim? What is your purpose? Is it to be really rich? Is it to have a family with kids? Is it to have restored relationships in your life? Is it to have a really great best friend? Is it to have a lot of money? What does success look like for you? You know, I really look up to the woman in the Bible named Mary, found in John chapter 12, verses 1 through 8. In this story, Lazarus had just been resurrected from the dead, and Jesus is hanging out with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. And Martha's running around doing things, but Mary chooses to sit at the feet of Jesus. And if you've been raised in church, you probably know the story. Mary decided to sit at Jesus' feet and break this bottle of perfume and dump it on Jesus' feet. So we've heard before in church that that's what we should do, sacrifice all our dreams and desires and lay them at the feet of Jesus. Well, kind of, but I want to present a different perspective of it. This alabaster jar that Mary laid at the feet of Jesus, it was worth probably everything to her. Back in biblical times, women were property, and so they didn't really own much. But she did own this alabaster jar, and it was probably everything she had. It was worth in today's money of about $70,000. And on top of that, it was made out of marble, and it had this expensive spikenard oil inside. A really rare and costly perfume that was mostly only used for kings, and it represented a royal anointing. And so Mary has this jar of $70,000 worth of perfume, and it's probably everything she owns. And this wax seal covers and seals it and protects it from spoiling. But she decides to break the wax seal, and she wants to anoint Jesus' feet and spill out her bottle of oil on this king, on Jesus. And what's so cool about this, it's almost Passover and Jesus is about to be crucified. And Mary anoints Jesus' body for burial. As a matter of fact, Mary's so special that she gives us so many clues of what success and purpose looks like in our lives. See, Mary was so special because she had decided that her alabaster box, everything she had, it was worth more. It was worth more than anything she could give. It was worth more than her hopes and her dreams. It was worth everything to her. And I heard this quote and it really stuck out to me. It said, "Has our passion been subtly redirected to kingdom causes rather than the king himself?" You know, it's really great to help the poor and do good and love people well. But as Christians, sometimes can we get so wrapped up in kingdom causes that we lose sight of the king himself? Mary knew the answer. She found her purpose at the feet of Jesus. She found her purpose in the palace. And the palace was the place at Jesus' feet because she was sitting in the presence of a king. Mary was concerned for the audience of one. I could imagine her just worrying and flipping out and weighing the cost and saying in her mind, I don't know how I'm going to pay for that in the future because I just gave everything I had. I don't know how I'm going to get married because I just gave the requirement away. It used to be a dowry that they would use this alabaster jar to give as a gift to the future husband. I can imagine her saying, I don't know how I'm going to please my family because I just gave the most important family heirloom away and broke it open. I don't even know how to secure my future because I just threw away any property I'll ever own. Does that ring a bell with any of you? Sometimes we want to hang on to things so tightly because I got to find my purpose. I got to find my worth. But Mary decided he's worth it. He's worth more than me figuring out my secure future, my financial provision, my future family, my security, my health insurance, my family's safety, because when she wasted it all, she got it all. Jesus made such purpose out of this woman that she went down in history and created a legacy to anoint and prepare Jesus for burial, to remind Jesus he was equipped for this. What if in the Garden of Gethsemane, when Jesus was kneeling down and he was sweating drops of blood and he was just so stressed and agonizing over his death, that he could smell the fragrance that had been bursted out open on his feet just a few days prior. And he could smell that anointing oil and remember, this is why I came here. What if as he was being whipped and dying and the Roman soldiers were whipping him, that they could smell that fragrance oil and they knew they were in the presence of a king? That was because Mary decided that Jesus was worth it. Why am I telling you this story? Because there are so many nuggets of revelation that we can draw, and we can find a purpose in this. We can find success and purpose in sitting at the feet of Jesus, in communing with him, in breaking our alabaster jar before him and saying, instead of me trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills, instead of me trying to figure out how this health issue is going to get better, instead of me trying to figure out how these relationships are going to get better, I'm going to sit with the king and I'm going to give it to him and I'm going to break it before him. And because you give it to the king, you're going to find your success in the soaking. You're going to find your success in just being with him. But see, I think a lot of times we get it backwards. I definitely have many times. We chase after doing all these things for God, but when you get the king, you get it all. You don't have to perform for God and do these things in order to make him happy anymore. You can sit at his feet. And because Mary chose this at Jesus' feet, Jesus gave her a legacy that is remembered even 2,000 years later. And even said that people would know her name, that this story would be passed down for generations. Mary found purpose because she laid her life at the king's feet. You will not miss your purpose when you commune with the king. When you give your hopes and dreams to Jesus, he gives them all back to you plus more. I don't know about Martha. Martha was in the story too. She didn't go down in history. She was running around trying to make food and everything else and do things for Jesus. I'm not saying she was wrong, but I am saying that she chose to do things and run around instead of sitting at the feet of Jesus. And you can get a lot more done in rest with the king than you can by striving and by the sweat of your brow. There's been so many times that I've tried to just figure out things, try to figure out, how am I going to make this relationship work? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to get this health issue worked out? But when I left it at Jesus' feet, I got it all back. I got the peace and the joy. I got the unconditional love. If Mary hadn't trusted that God was going to work out her future and take care of her, she wouldn't have done it. And so we can trust Jesus. We can trust him. And as we commune with him, as we entrust him with our future and realize that our purpose is in the palace, it will change the way we live. Because when you have the honor of anointing a king, that palace life rubs off on you. All of a sudden you begin to realize and understand, you know what? I am a prince. I am a princess. I am seated with Jesus, according to Ephesians, in heavenly places. And I'm going to start acting like a daughter of God. I'm going to start acting like a son of God. I don't have to beg for things. I have a king that provides all my needs. That is the beauty of sitting at the feet of Jesus and allowing his kingship to rub off on you, allowing him to rub off on you until everything begins to be so joyful, so peaceful in your life that you find your purpose. and you find your calling at his feet. So that being said, I'd like to sing a song over you, and it's an old song. It goes like this. Like oil at your feet, like wine for you to drink, like water to my soul, I'll pour my love on you. If praise is like perfume, I'll lavish mine on you. Till every drop is gone, I'll pour my love on you. So when we pour our love on Jesus, we get a double, triple, hundredfold dose back, and you find your purpose when you leave it at the feet of Jesus. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.